So in this video, we're going to finish off this add item view, and the modal is actually very simple. Now, if you go Google search for Bootstrap modal and we go down to JavaScript modals, it's, it's pretty much the exact same code that I ripped off from Bootstrap and put into my own project. So here is the code for this modal. And the only difference here is that my ID is more geared or changed or customized, wow, a lot of adjectives, to my own project. I've added in a class called add prod modal, and I've also changed, well, that's actually all I changed, so there's nothing new here. So that's pretty much what we have and what we need. So that's our modal. And how this is called is do this added pop-up modal, which is referenced by the data target in this button class. So that's how this modal really works, and you could look into Bootstrap for more information on how it works if you're still confused. But other than that, I want to jump into our JavaScript. I want to jump into our catalogs.coffee, which I would really like to rename as catalogs.js. Not that I have anything against coffee, but I'm more familiar with JavaScript. So we'll just save that and we'll reopen it since it doesn't have color coding. So this added pop-up class is referenced by our added item HTML over here in our button, and I think that's the only place where it shows up actually. So when that button is clicked, it'll actually go to our HTML and find all the values that are entered. So for example, the product ID, the tax, the title, the price, the grocer, the quantity that the user submitted, the available quantity, the weight in grams, the expiry, all of that is in our page, whether it be the catalogs page or our show page. It's all there. So what we want to do is we want to put those into variables, and we would want to put them into key value pairs inside our little data hash here, because we're going to send this back over the wire um, through Ajax, and it will be saved into our database. So before that's there, this is all the statements that handles the customizing of messages based on the user action. So what you have here is they're just if-else statements, and they're pretty simplistic by themselves. So basically you're just gonna say, like, if the quantity is greater than the available quantity, then of course you can't buy them all because there's not enough for you to buy. So you'll just say that there's not enough available quantity for the grocery to fulfill your order. If the user is an idiot and they entered some characters instead of some numbers, then they'll throw a quantity expected, telling them to enter a number. If if the number that they entered is 0 or an empty box, and they'll tell you to input a number for the quantity. If the number is 1, then it'll just tell you that you've added one item to your cart, and otherwise they'll just give you a message of the amount of an item that is added to the cart. And that's pretty much the customizing of messages that will appear in your modal. And where this data is used is Ajax is used, and Ajax is pretty much keeping your user on the same page, but on the background sending back requests to your server, pinging your server to do some changes on the back end. So for example, if you've ever had a page where you click something and and a box shows up with information without the page refreshing, that's utilizing Ajax. So this post function here that I'm using is actually calling our carts controller add function, which I don't believe we wrote yet, but we'll just check for now. I don't even think we have a carts controller yet. No, I don't think we have a cards controller, so we'll save that to a later date. But it's gonna tell us to go to the cards controller, go to the add function with our data as parameter, and we're going to make some changes, and those changes are pretty much going to save the quantity to our database if we're signed in, or to a session if we're not. So that's what this added pop-up function does in its own entirety. And other than that, that's pretty much it for our add item.html.erb. I don't think you can test it yet because I just did a refresh and it's telling us that we need another layout called vote buttons, which we'll probably work on in the next video. But other than that, please rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.